A political party created just 4 years ago has just won a commanding majority in Nepal's parliament, led by a former rapper who only entered politics recently. The result raises a striking question. How did a new movement rise so quickly in a country long dominated by entrenched political forces, and what does this sudden shift reveal about the changing nature of democracy in South Asia? The stakes extend far beyond a single election. When a new political force captures nearly 2/3 of a national legislature after a year of mass protests, it signals a deeper transformation inside the political system. If the transition stabilizes governance, Nepal could enter a new era of political renewal. If the movement struggles to translate public anger into policy, the same frustrations that fueled the uprising could return with greater intensity. The results released by Nepal's Election Commission show that the Rastriya Swatantra Party has secured an overwhelming victory in the country's parliamentary election. The party, often abbreviated as RSP, won 125 directly elected seats and an additional 57 through the proportional representation system. Combined, those numbers give the party 182 seats in Nepal's 275-member House of Representatives, the powerful lower chamber that determines the formation of government. The scale of this victory becomes clearer when compared to Nepal's traditional political players. The Nepali Congress, one of the country's oldest and most influential parties, finished a distant second with 38 seats. Another long dominant force, the Communist Party of Nepal, unified Marxist-Leninist, also failed to challenge the new movement's dominance. Nepal's electoral system combines two voting methods. Citizens directly elect 165 members to the lower house through geographic constituencies. The remaining 110 seats are distributed proportionally based on the national vote share of political parties. This structure is designed to balance local representation with broader political inclusion. Even within this mixed system, however, the RSP's performance stands out as one of the most dramatic political surges in Nepal's modern history. At the center of this transformation is Balendra Shah, the party's leader and its candidate for Prime Minister. Shah first entered the national spotlight after winning the 2022 mayoral election in Kathmandu, the country's capital and largest city. His rise from cultural figure to political leader reflected a broader trend among younger voters who had grown increasingly frustrated with traditional political elites. The momentum behind Shah and the RSP accelerated during the upheaval that shook Nepal in 2025. That year, the government led by Khadga Prasad Oli faced mounting criticism over corruption allegations and administrative failures. Tensions escalated sharply after authorities introduced a ban on certain social media platforms, a move that many young citizens interpreted as an attempt to restrict political expression. The protests that followed began as demonstrations against digital restrictions, but quickly expanded into a broader revolt against governance practices. Crowds gathered in major cities demanding accountability, institutional reform, and greater transparency in public administration. The unrest grew increasingly intense, with clashes between protesters and security forces resulting in dozens of deaths and hundreds of injuries. Government buildings were attacked in several locations, highlighting the depth of public anger. By the end of the crisis, the pressure forced Prime Minister Oli out of office, opening the door to a political realignment that would soon reshape Nepal's electoral landscape. The Rastriya Swatantra Party positioned itself as the principal channel for the protest movement's demands. Its campaign emphasized anti-corruption policies, institutional reform, and generational change in leadership. The electoral outcome suggests that a large portion of the population responded strongly to that message. Securing 182 seats in a 275-member parliament gives the party nearly two-thirds of the legislature, a level of dominance rarely achieved in Nepal's recent democratic history. Such a majority gives the RSP substantial influence over legislative priorities and government formation. Yet the procedural steps toward forming a new administration still follow Nepal's constitutional framework. The Election Commission will now ask each party to submit the names of lawmakers who will fill the seats assigned through the proportional representation system. Once the full roster of legislators is finalized, the list will be forwarded to Ram Chandra Paudel, Nepal's president. The president will then summon the newly elected parliament for its first session. During that session, lawmakers will vote to select a prime minister. Under Nepal's constitution, a candidate must secure the support of more than half the members of the House of Representatives. With 182 seats, the RSP possesses the numerical strength to form a government without relying on coalition partners. Even with that advantage, the transition may still take several days or weeks. Parliamentary procedures, party nominations, and negotiations over cabinet positions must all occur before a new government formally takes office. The process is routine in parliamentary systems, but the political environment surrounding this transition remains unusually dynamic. The broader significance of this election lies in what it suggests about Nepal's evolving political landscape. For decades, national politics was largely dominated by a small group of established parties rooted in the country's democratic movement of the late 20th century. The emergence of a new organization capable of rapidly displacing those institutions signals a major shift in voter expectations. Two possible scenarios now shape the country's immediate future. In one scenario, the new leadership successfully channels public support into effective governance. If anti-corruption initiatives strengthen institutions and economic policies address public concerns, the political upheaval of recent years could produce a more stable and responsive system. The alternative scenario is more uncertain. If the new administration struggles to meet the high expectations generated by its victory, frustration among supporters could intensify. The same mobilization networks that powered the uprising might re-emerge, potentially leading to renewed political instability. Nepal's strategic position between two major Asian powers also gives these developments regional significance. The country shares a long, open border with India and maintains extensive economic links with China. Political shifts in Kathmandu therefore attract attention from both neighbors, as well as from international development partners that provide economic assistance. Whether that mandate translates into lasting reform remains uncertain. Elections can redefine power structures overnight, but governing requires sustained institutional capacity and political compromise. The coming months will reveal whether Nepal's dramatic electoral shift marks the beginning of a new political era or simply the latest chapter in a long cycle of transformation.